Cuckoo. We're Isabel and Kim, girlfriends living in France and chatting about everything going on in our lives. Come hang out with us while we cheers with an Aperol Spritz, swap stories, get into some deep talks, and share what we've learned along the way. Make sure to share with your friends if you like our podcast, and you can leave us a review.
Yay.
Hey, Kim.
Hello. Happy last week of school for our kids.
Yeah, it's crazy. End of the year is
end
here
of the
fast.
year is here. It's very hot.
It's very hot.
Yes.
It's been really hot, I would say, for like 2-3 weeks now.
Yes, for sure.
Like 90s every day.
Every day. But I'm not complaining.
Even in the morning, it's hot.
Yeah.
It feels like it's already in the 80s.
Yes. Well, I think it is.
And it's only the
Like
beginning
6
of
a.m.
June. I'm so scared for August.
I know. But we do have fresh lavender today.
Yes.
Lavender season is in full bloom.
Yeah, Kim has really nice lavender in her
It smells
backyard.
so good right
It
here.
smells really good.
But we drove.
It's going to put me to sleep.
Okay.
It's so relaxing.
We drove yesterday, like towards Saint Victoire, the mountain, and you can start to see the lavender fields.
Oh, those fields are so
And
beautiful
it
out
looks
that
like
way.
somebody painted them purple. Like
crazy.
it's just amazing. So now I really want to go to Valensole, you know, where the real purple lavender is. And I don't know why we've been living here almost 2 years and I've never been.
Yeah,
So
I've heard
it's on
that
my list.
that it's very pretty.
Yes, but have to
my
go.
point is like, okay, like, so what do? You just drive there and you drive past it? Like, do you
No,
get
I'm
out
gonna
and take a
get out
picture?
and take some pictures and
Okay.
some video, and
And then what
that'll
do?
be it.
You come home?
Oh, maybe have lunch.
Yeah, okay.
Some
That makes
rosé.
sense.
Make a day of it.
Yeah. Okay.
It sounds like a good day.
Yeah, no, it does
Yeah.
sound like a good day.
Okay, so this is our last episode, probably for like the summer. We may come back
Yes.
in August.
Yes.
So I wanted to hear about what you're up to this summer, and then I can share a little, and then we'll get into our topic.
Yeah, so our kids are out of school and we're going to Greece for a week, and then we're going to just be hanging around all summer because I'm going to be so pregnant.
Oh.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. But it just gets...
You're having your baby in 3 months?
Yes, in September.
So exciting.
I know, crazy.
I know. I was like, are you excited? She's like, I haven't even thought about it.
Yeah, no, I am really excited, but it's true. I
Yeah.
haven't really thought about it. And like, I do obviously feel pregnant, but not pregnant enough to like,
Yeah.
like I forget that I'm pregnant during the day.
Totally.
Do you know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah.
So it's just not on my mind. I'm sure in the same way it will be in August when it's like 100 degrees and I'm gigantic.
For sure.
But yeah, that's about it. So I'm
exciting.
hoping that we'll be able to, once you get back from the US in
Yes.
August, do another
One
like
more
catch up
episode.
episode.
Yeah.
And then we have to figure out what we're going to do in the fall because I'm obviously having the baby in
Yes.
September. So we're still brainstorming
Yes.
some things. We want to keep it going, but I'm just going to have to do it in a smaller capacity.
Yes.
So we're still figuring that out, but I think we'll let you guys know in August.
And I may do a couple while Isabel's on maternity leave and maybe bring in some guests, or we'll do some. We'll
Yeah,
create
let us
something
know.
innovative.
If you
let us
guys-
know what you guys are interested in.
If you guys have ideas or we're trying to just figure out what to do. If there's things you want to hear that
Yeah.
like Kim could do by herself, let us know. Would you
Yeah.
be interested in other types of formats?
Yes,
We'll see.
We'll see. So more to come on that, but yes.
And what have you been up to?
Well, I chopped my hair, as you can see.
Oh, yeah, Kim got a great haircut. It looks really
It was
good.
it was like, I don't know. I found this picture of myself and it looked like my hair was this length. I'm like, I actually really like that. So I went for it on Friday and I'm actually really excited about it. It's a
I think it
nice
looks great.
Summer change, I think.
Yeah,
but-
it'd be so easy for summer too.
Yes,
Just pull it
yes,
back.
for sure. So, and then I got back last week from my writing retreat.
Oh yeah,
So
that's really cool.
I went to a writing retreat in Mallorca with 8 women that I did not know from all over the world, and we all stayed in one house in the middle of Mallorca, and we had workshops every morning, and then we had the day to kind of write, and then we had like dinners together at night. So it was definitely out of my comfort zone, but it was actually really good. Like, I think the first few days I just couldn't get myself into like a good writing flow because I felt like, where am I and what am I doing here?
Discombobulated.
And yeah, just a
Yeah.
little out of touch. But then I kind of really got into it and actually met some really amazing women, and I'm about halfway through my book, and so I'm entering.
You're halfway through
writing, and so I.
Wow, Kim, that's really
No,
good.
thank you. It was good. So I
thought you only had like 2 or 3 chapters.
No, I've got a lot done the past this whole writing retreat.
gosh,
and
that's
then I had like
amazing.
long plane rides where I got a lot done.
Yeah.
And now I'm in the whole like publishing agent trying to get editor phase, which I'm realizing is a whole new world and moves very slowly, and it's very bureaucratic and challenging to get a book published. So
anyone has experience with this, reach out
please
to Kim.
reach out to me because
she's on LinkedIn.
Yeah. Thank you for my LinkedIn. Always LinkedIn. Anyway, so I'm excited, but yes, definitely. I still have like a lot of work to do this summer.
Yeah,
and
but that's
fall,
like
I'm excited.
that's pretty like a significant chunk to have said you did the first half, because I feel like the first half is probably the hardest.
It was the hardest half for
because
sure.
first you have to start, and then
Yes.
you need like organization and direction of
Yes.
how it goes. So once you have that, like I feel like you'll be able to just keep banging out the chapters.
I hope so. I might share some on Instagram. Because I have like a mock-up of like what a front cover and back cover.
Yeah,
and
share it. It's so good.
I might share what I'm writing about and get your guys' thoughts. So
yeah, do it.
cool. All right. Shall we jump in?
Yes. Let me
Okay.
just pull up my notes.
Our topic today is we've realized that we have not really covered, and we're actually getting a lot of questions about like what are the perks of raising kids in France. And I think there's a lot of, I know from researching books right now, there's a lot of books of like, everyone I think knows of Raising Bébé, but there's even some recent books of like French parenting styles and like how Americans can even, be more like French or vice versa. And so just sort of an interesting, I think, timely cultural topic. And we are going to talk about our own experience with raising kids in France. And obviously your daughter's half French, so you have sort of the benefit of both. And I'll share from the perspective of having lived in the US for a while, and then now with almost 2 years of 2 kids, 6 and 8 in France. So
okay, that sounds
Great.
good. And then also just to preface this, these are our positives.
yes.
There's obviously like a lot of, I mean, not a lot of negatives, but
But
there's
there are-
always downsides,
for
and
sure.
like there's things that I think about and I'm like, oh, this would be so easy in the US.
Same.
But there really truly are, I have to say, having done like from the beginning to almost to 5, it's been really great having a kid here. And I don't have the comparison with the US, but I've just like had a very good experience so far. Okay, so the first for me is I feel like in general there is just a lot less intensity on a variety of different
I agree.
topics with raising kids here. For example, so before I moved to France, before I had kids, I was getting my master's in nutrition, and there was so much any of the child nutrition stuff. The big focus was like bottles are done at 12 months,
Yes.
at the last moment possible by 18 months.
Yep.
Pacifiers out as soon as possible.
sure.
And it sounds like such a silly example, but here there's just like none of those
There's
rules.
no
My
rules.
daughter had a bottle until 3.5, I think. Like she had a bottle of milk before she
Wow.
went to bed. And I remember like continuing to like ask my doctor about it. And he was like, you know what? It gives her comfort before bed. Like there's no reason to take it away from her.
Aw,
And I
so
was like,
chill.
cool.
Yeah.
And it just, it's one of those things, because I remember when I was approaching the 12-month
Yeah, I know.
mark,
You've
I was
gotta-
like, how am I supposed to take this bottle away
know,
from
and they love
a
it.
baby? 12 months
Totally.
is really
It's
young.
really
And I
young.
know they say like it changes the mouth shape
Yeah.
and all that stuff, but I just feel like sometimes like the general consensus here is like, it's not such a big deal.
No. And I'd like to build on that for a minute. So just a story about my daughter. So a lot of times in the US, it's enforced by the dentist. Like you have to get rid of the pacifier. So my daughter was still like 2.5 and had a pacifier. And we went to the American dentist and he was like, absolutely not. Like this has to go. Her mouth's starting to form around her pacifier. And I would say at 3, trying to give up my daughter's pacifier was so painful. I had so many nights of no sleep because she was
Oh my
relying,
God.
and she only had it at night. Like it wasn't
Yeah.
even something during the day. It was just to help her both like
to soothe
nap
her.
and soothe. And anyways, when we moved here, she was 4, and obviously we had given up the pacifiers, and we saw all of these children that were way older than her with pacifiers.
Yeah.
And we still do, like 7-year-olds sometimes have
Really?
pacifiers. Yes, I've seen it. But anyways, the only reason I
I see
know
a lot of 3-4-year-olds.
and 5, 6, like my daughter points
Really?
them out because she goes, look, she's taller than me and she still has hers. And so they're out and they're walking around the streets in France with them. Like we were just kind of shocked. And then, but nobody judges. Like, it's not like anyone was looking at those children with their pacifiers and going,
Like it was something weird.
right. So
Oh
anyways.
my gosh. Yeah, no, I agree. And like even with the dentist, the first dentist visit in France is at 3 years old.
I can't believe that. It's 1 in the US.
And I mean, if your child falls or something,
Right,
like maybe you
course.
would go to an emergency dentist before then. But the first like paid back visit, you're told to go once they turn 3.
I can't
So like
believe that.
just, I remember talking to Tor, my friend in the
Yeah.
US, and she was going to the dentist with her child who was like just 12 months. And I was like, wait, what do you mean you're going to the dentist? And she was like, no, like they have to go at 1. I was like, they barely have any teeth. Like, what is the dentist doing?
Yeah, no, it's so true. And it could just be dentists, I think, in general, maybe not just for children. Like when I went to the French dentist here, I was like, okay, so I'll come back in 6 months. And he's like, if you want, you can come back in a year. And I'm like, what? Really? Like that's, yeah. And I was very nervous they were going to like, when I brought my kids, they hadn't been in a year and a half. And in the US, that would have been like
A big deal.
a big deal. And I thought the French dentist was going to be like, why haven't your children been to the dentist? And he was like, only a year and a half. Their teeth are fine. No cavities. See you next year
Just
or
chill.
2 years. Just chill.
More chill. Another place where I feel like this affects things are, I feel like the schedules can be really intense in the US.
Yeah.
And I just like with sleep training and home for daytime naps.
Yes. Oh, for sure.
And, just really
Rigid, like
focused,
kid focused.
rigid, like this is how we're doing. And I have to be honest, I was really rigid with my daughter. We were peak COVID though too.
That's different.
And like trapped at home. And for me, I think clinging onto a schedule was just giving me like a path to get through the day.
Yeah.
But I remember being the only, like nobody was doing sleep training. Nobody was on these like crazy schedules at the daycare when my daughter started daycare. And I was like, wait, so everyone's just kind of like wings it? And they're like, well, no, like they go to sleep at night when they're tired. And of course they wake up, they're babies. And I was like, oh, because I've been listening to things like they should not be once they've been slept trained, they should, or sleep trained, they should be sleeping for 12 hours straight. And then I had all these kind of like ridiculous expectations in my head that kind of just led to frustration because
it's stressful.
Like, I did have times like that, but then your child's getting a tooth or you're traveling and
for sure,
and then it's like they're doing something wrong because they didn't hit the 12 hours of sleep. Whereas I think most of the world, like that's like super normal. You have a baby, they're going to wake up and eventually like everyone starts sleeping through the night.
I think on that, what's more normal here, like I was also one of those rigid American parents that like, and all of my friends' parents were like, we all had babies and it was like by 1 p.m. you had to be home for the child's nap from like 1 to 3.
Yeah.
And so our days and weekends were divided into like morning time that was, you could hang out with people or after
the nap. Yeah.
And I noticed in France, like even yesterday, it was Father's Day in the US and in France. And there was a lot of babies and toddlers at this restaurant we went to. And it was like 1:30 to when it was time to nap, they just put the stroller out and let the babies sleep like at the table in their stroller.
Yeah.
Which I see sometimes in the US. But it's actually, I feel like if your child's not used to it, it's really hard to
I feel like
have them
if you don't
sleep in the
always do
stroller.
it, it's probably a hard thing to start midway through.
For sure.
But yeah, same for us. We went to the beach yesterday and there were so many babies in their strollers, like taking we got there at like, I don't know, 12:30.
Yeah.
And so many babies were taking their like afternoon nap just on the beach, chill. And it just, I think when you like, parenting is already so intense. And when you have these like external pressures of how things should be or ways to do things, I just feel like it makes it to this kind of crazy level of intensity. And
I agree.
I feel like there's something here that's just a little more detached. And it's more peaceful.
Oh, for sure. I completely agree. And I think you're also under a lot of pressure, I think, to read all these parenting books and follow these rules. And then other moms are sharing what they're doing. And it just, I think it like adds to the anxiety. And there seems to also be, I wouldn't call it a competition, but it's like, how long can you breastfeed your child? Like, and obviously the longer the better. But you get this like insecurity of like, if you go back to work and you can't, you're not producing as much milk,
like comparing yourself.
Yeah. It's just, I just think I was really stressed out on top of like just being a new mom and working like, and then you have all these factors of, oh no, I shouldn't stop breastfeeding.
This shouldn't happen or this blah, 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 blah.
Exactly. So
I completely agree with you on that. And I think the other, like, so the next thing that paired with the less intensity, I think it's really helpful though, that kids are also really included in life here.
Yes, for sure.
And there's really a place for kids and there's not so many places that are like, you can't bring a kid. We were brainstorming downstairs, like where couldn't you bring a kid in France? Because I don't know if you go to a wedding, like kids are always invited to weddings. I would say like, you're not going to go out like late at night to a bar and bring a kid, but like just even in X, like if people are out at dinner and having a drink, you see so many strollers
at 10
with sleeping
p.m.,
babies.
11, no one cares.
I was even thinking about how there's so much less kind of need for a babysitter. Like the amount of times that we're like getting a babysitter because we're going somewhere that's just adults. Maybe it's just our friend group, but and maybe it's because we all have
a little bit older now
kids, but I don't know, like it's very rare that you would have like something that's like kids aren't invited.
Where I think that's more common in the US. Like there's a lot of like adult only like dinner parties or night out or whatever it is. Like we had a lot of babysitters on the weekends in the US, and here honestly, like we'll use them once in a while if we want like a nice night. But,
if you want to have like a date night.
or go down to like Marseille and like how we did, where it's like you don't really want to bring the kids and it's a lot of work. But I agree with you. Even though the babysitters are so much less expensive, like we could probably be relying on them more. Sure. Yeah. But we haven't yet. So I agree.
And so I just feel like it's kind of a nice cultural difference, knowing that like you can bring your kids wherever and no one's gonna like be staring at you, or like you have to keep your kids quiet. I feel like in the US, like you see so many kids on iPads at restaurants because if your kids are being kids in a restaurant, you're gonna get like dirty looks and people staring at you.
But I do think like for some reason the French kids are much more well behaved than kids in the US at restaurants. Like just having been in both situations, like they're quieter.
I know, but they
play activities.
This jumps ahead to the.
Okay, sorry, I'm jumping.
Like, no, this is fine. But it's a really like kids are better behaved here because they start school at 3 years old.
So they're like naturally trained to be.
They're in school from 8:30 to 4:30.
Yeah, starting at
3. So like my daughter was 2 years, 7 months when she started. That schedule,
so long,
which required like it's a big ask of kids, but at the same time, like you do see these kind of trickle down effects that are like good behavior and being able to go along because they go to school. They have, I don't know, her first year I want to say she had 25 kids in her class.
Okay.
1 teacher, 1 assistant. Wow. And so unless you're the kid that's having like a lot of problems, like you're really doing your day by yourself. Like you're getting your jacket on, getting your shoes on, going down to sit at lunch, eating food by yourself, serving yourself, feeding yourself.
It's a lot of independence.
There's a lot of independence, going to the bathroom by yourself. And that's pretty little. And I think
it's really little.
Even in the US, like I know it's like you have like what, pre-K and
you'd have preschool, then pre-K, then they would go to the big kid school for kindergarten. Typically,
but it seems like because like it's not like I feel like preschool is usually more of like a half day or is it a full
for sure.
day?
I know it's not even it's not even every day.
Maybe I'm wrong, but to me it seems less intense and less like
strict,
for sure like sitting at a desk all day.
They're not actually sitting at desks at all in preschool.
Really?
No,
they never sit at desks.
I mean, a lot of schools don't even have desks anymore.
Wow. So it's more like a day, like
it's like
not daycare.
Well, I mean, they're learning, but it's different type. It's learned through play in a lot of preschools. I would say in the US,
what, like the daycare was like. There were no desks. Like they just play. Like there's toys. There's different things. They could go outside. They could do a bunch of different activities, but there was no like sitting learning the alphabet. For example,
like it was a really hard thing for my son, who we moved here when he was starting first grade, to be forced to sit in a desk for that long. Yeah. That was a very big adjustment for him. Granted, I have learned it's actually not just him, like every child.
And CP is
that
really
goes
intense.
From kindergarten here to first grade here it's a huge adjustment. It's a big adjustment in the US, honestly, too. But I think the like desk style of
desks, homework
at first grade, like he has a lot of homework, even in second grade. So it's just a different mentality. So I think they're maybe used to being more disciplined,
used to being told what to do, and having to like, you just have to do it.
And this like kind of leads to like good and bad. Like I don't completely support the French model and I don't completely support the American model. Like for me, I feel like there's something in the middle.
Something in the middle is like my answer to everything. Yeah. But you can't deny that it does have like positive as a parent.
Definitely as a parent has like positive effects.
It's been much easier to be able to like take a long plane ride or like, just be out of the house. Like my daughter's used to being out of the house all day. And I don't know if it's necessarily like the best thing for kids. I think it really depends on the kid. For my daughter, it's been great. Yeah. But I could see like certain kids, like it really being pretty difficult. Yeah. And I will say her first year of school was miserable. Yeah. Because she was just too young.
Of course.
Way too young.
Yeah.
But I think that's like part of the benefit of, kids really are used to having to do a lot. Yeah. And they're just out living, and it is nice for parents because then you're not living this child directed life.
I think you made a good point, and like I think it all kind of fits together of that this is much more of like a parent led child foul like type of versus child led like parents just do whatever their kids want.
For sure.
Like much more parent centric than kid centric.
I agree.
And I think that's such an interesting dynamic because I and it plays into everything. For example, the playgrounds here. Like
Yeah.
when my kids first moved here, first of all, in the US, the playgrounds are amazing and they're everywhere. Like we could walk to like probably 4 different playgrounds all within about a 4 to 5-10 minute walk, maybe at most. And they're like jungle gyms and they're huge and they've got all these big slides. And here it's like, we literally looked at the playgrounds, like, they're so sad. They're like one little slide.
Yeah.
Maybe that little like seesaw. I don't
That's
it's
the one
just
in
like,
my like little downtown square has one tiny slide and one tiny seesaw.
I mean, it's so
They're-
sad.
like, you would never go
You'd
there.
never go there. And I
In
realized
Paris,
though,
they were better.
yeah, I bet there's some nice ones. And there are some here. Like I found really one good one outside the city. But anyways, the point is that's a like activity that parents bring their kids to after school on the weekends. Like you meet at playgrounds, you have birthday parties at playgrounds. Like playgrounds are a meeting place that are meant for kids to enjoy. And it's definitely not enjoyable for parents. Like I didn't find playgrounds enjoyable, but
I hate the
you would
playground.
never see a French, not never, but it's rare that a French family would be like hanging out at the playground. Do you agree?
I mean,
Sometimes, but it's not
look,
like a
in
common.
Paris, yes.
Yeah,
Like,
probably more
I
so.
think it's also like just city based. Like when you have kids in the city and there's not like
What else are you gonna do?
parks and
Yeah.
there like we also live in a region where there's like you can go to the sea.
That's
you
true.
Can go to
You can go to
there's
hikes.
just
There's a lot more to do.
outdoor stuff to do. So I will say like there was like every morning on the weekend there was
Yeah.
parents at the playground with their kids to like
Yeah,
get
of
them
course.
some energy. But I do agree. Like I think that you don't spend the whole weekend just going around the city doing things
For your child.
for your kids.
Yeah.
Like you kind of maybe you do like one thing for them, but then like they're coming along, or maybe you don't do anything for them. They're just coming
Yeah.
along on the day that you've planned.
Right.
Which is like pretty much how we grew up.
I think so. I mean, I don't remember my parents being like, today we're doing this just for
Yeah,
you.
no, it was like,
it's
we were always just like
we need a
passengers
grocery
along
stop.
with-
We need to do this.
yeah,
And,
like it was like my parents decided what we were doing, and we were
Yeah.
in the car like going to do whatever it was. But it was rare that we even really had birthday parties
Yeah.
or like maybe there was like Saturday morning soccer. But I do feel like something changed recently with more like that helicopter parenting
For
and
sure.
just parents being really it being really intense. And I
Yeah.
think it's kind of a shame because it's more enjoyable to be a parent when you also get to do things that you like to do.
For sure.
Do you know what I mean?
And I think it's also the parents are happier because they're not like working all week, then just doing everything for their kids and having no time to like do what
enjoy.
they want to do and
Yeah.
enjoy some of their weekend. And I found that in the US, like I don't really remember. Sure, there was weekends that were fun, but you're like, it was a lot of like, okay, he's got a baseball game, and then we've got a soccer game, and then it's like so overscheduled. Like I just remember running around like crazed on Saturdays and even Sundays.
Yeah.
So
And
it's
then like Sundays getting ready for work.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, no, I agree.
it's definitely more relaxed.
Okay. Another thing is I feel like there's more boundaries in the parent-child relationship
Okay, say more.
in France. And it kind of touches a few things. I am definitely more of an American style parent. But like, for example, kids are just treated more like adults.
Okay.
And I feel like parents sort of respect that boundary. Like you don't see French parents hovering over their kids, like
Oh,
making
definitely
sure
not.
they don't fall. Like
No.
they give them the independence and the space to be their own person
Yes.
without being their identity being so tied to their child.
Yes.
To their child. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like I think an example of that is, and I was just recently in the US and I noticed like a lot of parents are like hovering like over their children. It's like, don't go there, don't do this, like don't, run over, blah, blah, blah. It's like a lot of no's. And I understand that in the US as well. Like I just think the safety and everything is like definitely highly more, it's way more concerning than here.
Like someone's gonna get kidnapped.
Yes.
Or like do you think people are really getting kidnapped, or is it just
don't
that
know.
everyone's so anxious?
Maybe it's a combination.
Yeah.
But I find myself hovering a lot more in the US than I do here.
Really?
Like I give
Okay.
my kids so much more freedom in France. And I notice like even when American families visit us and I'm like, oh, it's fine. The kids can just go run over there even if we can't see them. Then I notice like other American moms are like, wait a minute, are you sure? Like where are they going? We can't see like, and I'm like, no, this is just a big field. Like it's fine. There's not,
Yeah.
I guess you just, for some reason, I have more trust that nothing bad's going to happen here and that the independence is actually, I wouldn't say like necessary, but warranted. Like they're at ages where I think they should be able to go and do some stuff without me hovering.
I completely agree. I think it's even like from a young age, even like the fact that going to school all day, being
Yeah,
separate from
totally.
your parents, like that builds like a level of these like separate identities. And I think that also, if you're a stay-at-home mom, you sort of do become
Yeah.
enmeshed with your child. You spend the whole day
course.
together. So it's normal. I would say that most, and most parents are working in the US
Yeah.
now too, compared to like the way that we grew up.
For sure.
But I think there's that boundary. I also think there's the boundary of like, there's less granted, American homes tend to just be way bigger than French homes in general,
sure.
but you don't see a lot of like designated kid spaces in homes. So it's almost like that boundary too. Like kids have their bedroom and that's their space,
Right.
and that's where their toys are. But the rest of the house is like the family's house,
right.
and you don't see like, I don't know if I've ever been over to a French home where there's been like kids' toys
Same.
like
Anywhere. Even
all through the house.
And not even like a parent. Do you
Yeah.
notice? Like I
Yeah.
don't even see them like in bins or something. They're just not in their living
Just
rooms.
not there, like not on display, like usually not like a big TV with the
No.
couch. Like everything is just not. I mean, if you come to my house, there's toys everywhere in every cranny of everything. So I'm definitely the American parent, but you just don't see that. And so it's almost like everyone kind of has just a little bit of better boundaries. And I do sort of think that brings out some good things too.
For sure. I think the other thing is that I think there's just less like consumerism, materialism. Like I
This
noticed
is one of my favorite parts about having kids
same.
here.
Like I noticed like when my daughter does play dates at like French families' homes, like the little girl might have like a few nice dolls, not like 1,000 dolls, or like it's not like more is better. It's like fewer, maybe nicer toys.
I
Do you
think
agree?
that kind of like relates to a lot of things though. Like this is one of my favorite parts of having a kid in France is it just feels like you really feel the difference in in culture with consumerism.
Yeah,
it
for
is
sure.
not well seen to be having like really fancy bags and fancy cars, and there isn't this like strive to like have money and show that you have money.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like in a lot of parts of the U.S., like
For sure.
it's important. Like people are working really hard and starting from nothing and making something like the American dream.
Yeah.
And here it's like that's just not the dream. Like I feel like the focus is so much more on quality of life as opposed to materialistic items.
Yeah.
And that has been a really nice way to raise kids because they're just not surrounded by all this stuff all the time. Even with kids' clothes, you were saying how like kids have so many clothes and it's really like athletic wear, and how you always think that the kids dress so nicely in France.
Yes.
And it's true. Like I feel like kids have way less clothes, but they just have a few nicer quality items. And like you kind of just see that in every aspect, like a few nicer quality clothes, a few nicer quality toys.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's refreshing.
No, I completely think it's refreshing from the U.S. and having kind of been in a high consumerism area, like in big cities between New York and San Francisco. I appreciate that here for sure. And I think also the coming back to like what kids wear, I just find it so interesting. Like the U.S. it's like just put on dry fit, whatever. It doesn't matter if we're going out to lunch or dinner or whatever. And it's just very casual, like casual sporty, I would say, especially if you have boys. But like here, like my daughter like rarely wears shorts. She's like always in a dress or skirt or something. Right. And I think that I don't see a lot of little girls in like shorts and tank tops. Like it's much more of like a cute dress and maybe a little bow if she's little, and like cute ballet flaps and like ruffled socks. And I don't know, just they're like, I think the parents look like they took pride in getting their children dressed or pulled together. And I think they're teaching them lessons of like, okay, we're going out of the house. Like you will change your clothes and wear something.
I think it just reflects like
respectable.
what the parents wear. Like people do get compared to the U.S., people are more dressed up here,
For sure,
and their kids
for
are
sure.
too.
Yes.
And like you're not going to see like you don't see dads walking around in sportswear.
No.
Whereas I feel like in
Never.
the U.S. you see a lot of dads in sportswear.
true.
So
Or moms,
of course,
too.
their sons are going to be in sportswear too.
Yeah.
So I think that's just like a cultural difference. But I kind of like that. Like I feel like that also changed in the U.S. since when we grew up.
Yeah, that's
because
so
I
true.
was always, my mom always had us pretty. We didn't.
Yeah.
I don't know. We didn't have like tons and tons of clothes,
Right.
but we always looked nice. I
Yeah.
felt like it meant more to like look nice back then.
I think
You
you're
know what I
right.
mean?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like my mom too. Like I look back at pictures and it's almost like how the little kids dress in France now. Like
Yeah,
with
no, I agree.
I don't know. Just it's like a reflection of I think the times evolving a lot in the U.S. toward
Like
much
just
more convenience
convenience-based
and casual.
easy and comfortable. And
And
I feel
there's
like that
some-
change hasn't happened here.
Definitely not.
yet.
No.
And who knows? Maybe it will.
But look, there's bad and good, I think, to both of those
Yeah.
things. Like I just, one small example, I was in Chicago and went to a coffee shop pretty early in the morning, and the parents let their children go in their pajamas to the coffee shop. And I was like looking like, what? I think I was just so like reverse culture shock, because the idea of like letting your child leave the house in pajamas here is
I don't know if that happens here.
I've just never seen it. So anyways, just small examples, I think, of differences in cultural perceptions and what kids wear.
Like, I will come clean though. I have brought my daughter out of the house in pajamas many times early in the morning.
Well, I think if they're really little, it's okay.
Well,
but
this weekend.
Okay.
Because it's like a way that I can kind of bribe her out of the house early if I want to do an early. You know,
I get it.
I'm so bad at parking that there's like certain places that if I don't get there early enough, the parking situation is a nightmare. So I'll be like,
fair.
You can wear your pajamas.
Okay,
come on,
fair.
let's go. And that works. But
I think, but it's more the like exception, not the rule.
in all fairness, her pajamas, like,
They probably look like
she wears
cute
like
little...
nightgown. Like, I don't know if you can totally tell they're pajamas.
Exactly. So I doubt I'm not offending you, hopefully.
But I'm also American, so I'm allowed
why
to do
not?
this.
You're allowed to do that for sure.
Okay. I think one of the last ones I have is the kids' activities.
Yes.
Also, I feel like less intense, more available.
Okay. Say more.
Sorry, not available. Less intense, more accessible.
Okay. What? Explain.
So less intense. You don't spend your weekends going to games and sports and this and that and like hockey games. And I feel like in the U.S., a lot of my friends have their weekends are really busy because they have a lot of games, especially if they have more than one kid. They just have a lot of different things to go to. I feel like here it also helps because Wednesday is like for sports. Yeah. So there's time built into the week for that.
Yes.
So there's less time encroaching on the weekend. And then by more accessible, I guess it's not just for sports. It's more for like all activities in general. You can, like, any child can afford to play a sport or do an art class.
From a cost perspective,
From a cost perspective.
Yeah.
And every year at La Rentrée, at the beginning of school, each town has their like activity festival.
Oh yeah, that is really cute.
And it's, you know, it's for kids and like through adults. Like adults can sign up for stuff too. And I would say like we signed up for tennis last year and my daughter very quickly dropped out. But the price for the entire school year, so September and through the end of June, for Saturday class from 9 to 11, I think, was 220 euros.
I mean, that's amazing.
For tennis classes.
So
and
cheap.
I just know that like in the US, you can't sign your kid up for a whole year.
No.
Under those circumstances. And I would say most classes are around like 200 to 250 a year. And oftentimes you get reimbursed if you have, because you get money from the government for depending on how many kids you have, depending on things. So a lot of times people aren't even actually paying this. But it's just great that everyone's kids can access different things. Certain sports are more expensive, like horseback riding and ballet was, I think, more expensive.
Yeah.
But this applies to music lessons and piano and I don't know, all kind. Like in my town, there were a bunch of adults who signed up for like different style of dance classes and
cool.
like circus school. Like there's just like a lot of
variety.
Different things. And I just think it's really nice that it's so accessible because in the US, I know it's like if you don't have extra money, like your kids aren't getting to do all of these like swimming classes, sports things, you know.
Yeah, it's expensive for
I don't
sure.
know.
The other thing I like about it is there's something that's really common here called multi-sport. So they're introduced to like multiple sports all at one time. So, and that's what like our kids do when they have sport at school. Like they do multi-sports, which just means they might do a little soccer, a little football, a little like of everything so that they can try different sports and not have to like commit to one sport or be every kid plays, you know, XYZ in the US and just because there's a team, like your kid needs to do that. And so the camps here are much more centralized on like this idea of multi-sport to let your child choose like what they enjoy the most, which I think is really amazing because I just have never seen that in the US as often. There are some multi-sport, but it's much more like you choose a sport or two sports or three sports. And those are the ones you are part of a team and, you know, you get good at versus a lot of variety.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's really cool. Do you have any other perks on your list?
My one last perk. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I think you know this.
My children are just like asking so many more questions and hearing so many more languages and just so much more culturally aware than they were in the US. Like my son has a world map out and he's always like, where is this country to this country? And just asking so many, I would say just like more interesting questions about the world and what different people are like and cultures. And they just hear a lot more languages on a daily basis or multiple times if we travel. Like we're an hour and a half from the Italian border, so we can drive over the Italy border, and all of a sudden you're in like there's no more French, and
No
it's
more
like
French,
you drove like
new language,
an
new
hour and a
food.
half, and new food and new just and even culturally the Italians are very different from the French, and so I just think for us at least as Americans, like we even if we left the country, we would maybe go like to Mexico or the Bahamas or Canada, which honestly are not that they're different, but it's not like so different that you're asking so many questions about culture and things like that. So
no, I agree. I think it's like we're so lucky that we can access so many different cultures relatively easy.
For sure.
And I think that's, I mean, I don't know, like when I was growing up, like I remember thinking like America is the best. I don't know if it was like the Pledge of Allegiance when you got to school, but it was so off my radar that there were other places in the world worth living. It was like America,
of course. And I think there's nothing wrong with being like proud of being an American or from the US, but I think this just opens your eyes, my eyes.
I feel like the French schools aren't teaching like France. Do you know what I mean?
No, I think like a lot of the French people actually don't like France. Do you notice that? Like they're really down on their own country.
Yeah, I have noticed that recently.
More recently maybe, but I mean, maybe a lot of Americans I do notice are really down on our country right now, which is completely understandable.
I think kind of the world is like
maybe it's just
a strange place right now, and you know, there's just like a lot going on. But I do feel like it's more of like a global education
for sure.
that you're able to easily give without making too much of an effort by living here.
1,000%.
Cool.
Which is very,
because you'd really have to, in order to provide that in the US, you really have to have like a lot of exposure, touch points.
Yes,
and it's just hard.
It's hard. And you'd have to travel a lot further, like for a long period of time. Like, that's hard to do. Mm-hmm. So it's just one thing I think like it's been a big perk of living here, and
your kids were able to learn a new language, which is so cool.
Yeah, it's amazing how quickly if you learn before 10 years old, I think we talked about this, you get the native tongue too, so that you're completely fluent without even an accent. It's so awesome.
So jealous.
I know, I'm very jealous. Okay. I think our last one, did you want to talk about the phones and screens?
Oh, well, yes, we sort of talked about this point a little bit already, but I had the point of like kids grow up faster but slower at the same time. So like they do grow up faster, and that like a lot of it is expected of them from a young age. But at the same time, I just feel like there's a little bit more innocence.
There's definitely more innocence longer.
Like kids don't have phones. Mm-mm. Even, I don't know, like my daughter, like when I've gone to the US, like I've noticed like a lot of kids are like reaching for their parents' phones reaching for certain things. Like my daughter has never been allowed to have my cell phone, or she's never allowed to look at my cell phone. She has an iPad. That's my iPad that she uses on planes or trains. What my kids do too. Yeah, like she doesn't plug into things, and she definitely watches TV at home. She has screen time. Yeah, but I feel like there's no like video games. No. Like she's not playing like learning. I feel like a lot of people do learning games. Like she doesn't do that. She's very kind of like preserved in her innocence of like being lost in her own play, and you don't see like I feel like it's so much easier to parent that way when all the other influences are doing the same thing. Yeah. And that's kind of how kids are raised here. Like every kid doesn't have their own iPad or their own this or that. And there's just an innocence to it. And I feel like most kids aren't really getting cell phones until they're like 13, 12, 13. Agree. And honestly, I don't know if they're getting smartphones or just like regular plain phones. Who knows? But
and honestly, our kids are not necessarily at the ages yet where they're like completely like, I need a phone. I want this. And I think it's a lot of like social pressure here and in the US. It's like, well, they got a phone and I need a phone. And you just hear that a lot. And I do see like more interest from my son at 8 of more into like phones or technology, but he still would never like grab for my phone or I don't know, it's just not as common. Like you just don't see other families doing it, so I just don't think they're as exposed to like, oh, I want that, I need that, which I really, really appreciate about living here too.
Even with like I noticed with like preteens and teenagers, like you don't see a lot of makeup.
No, it's true. Like Sephora's not like something you start at like 8 years old here.
No, like, not at all. It's like honestly, like that age group of girls seems
so scary.
So, but the ones here, I just
they
like
look innocent, so cute still.
And
for sure.
Just they kind of look like little girls still.
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas I feel like in the US, like a lot of people are wearing bras really early, and they're also I think developing
earlier.
So that kind of comes with the territory. I
Yeah.
think there's just some more hormones and stuff that
For
are
sure.
triggering that earlier. So of course you have those other changes, but
Yeah.
I do feel like here it's just like childhood is slightly extended in that way, that
I
they're not
completely
like
agree.
jumping into this like world of teenagehood at like
No.
8 or 9, because I feel like it really used to, when we were growing up, it was like like 13,
Yeah,
14,
14,
but
of course, but
it
not
just
8 or
seems
9.
that like
Yeah.
even with like kids watching TikToks
I
and
know.
dancing
Oh.
and some of the clothes that you see people kids in the US wear, even the clothes that companies are making
Of
for
course, like
that
Brandy Melville, and it's just,
age group is
yeah.
like, you don't it seems a little more innocent here.
I completely
and I'm sure,
agree.
Maybe I'm wrong because I don't have kids that age. And
No,
I'll
I
totally
don't think you're
change my
wrong.
tune,
I
but
don't think you're wrong because, like, I mean, my son's in 2nd grade, and you would start to see that. I think with some of, at least the girls in 2nd, you just don't see it. They're like
Yeah.
still playing with dolls, and like they're young, and it's just like a nice preserved innocence. And I also think like we have a couple high school babysitters that are girls, and I was asking them about social media in high school, and they're like, honestly, we don't feel this like pressure to be on social all the time or be posting all the time, or like they're not living their lives like watching
Through
everyone
social
else's
media.
life
Yeah.
through social
They're,
media,
like, living their own
and they're
lives.
living their own lives, and like I mean, maybe this comes with the independence thing because these are
Yeah.
both French girls that have grown up in France, and they just like, they're much more interested, I think, in pursuing like what they are interested in, like whether like one girl's like, I play 4 musical instruments, like I don't know, just like different things, I think, than like the social pressure, I think, of high schools in the US.
Yeah. And it gets tough because
I
I think
know.
it's just hard when everyone around you is doing a
For
certain
sure.
thing,
For
especially
sure.
when you're young and you don't have like the
Yeah,
wherewithal
of
to be like,
course.
no, I want to do something different.
I know.
It's hard. I think it would be very challenging to parent against that.
Because
You also can't be the parent that's like, you're not allowed a phone until
No.
14, 15. And then it becomes this big like rebellion
No, of
thing. And I
course.
don't know what the right answer is, but I will say I just feel grateful and appreciative
Same.
currently as it stands now.
We may come back in like 5 years and be like, oh no,
to
what's
being
happening?
able to raise, yeah, totally. To be able to raise a kid in this
For
situation.
sure. So
That's all I have
that's
to
all we
say.
have today. Yes. So that was our perks of raising kids in France. Let us know what you guys think and share with a
Yes.
friend. And we will
Hope you have
be back
a
in a
great
couple months.
summer.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.